Welcome. Willkommen.
Bienvenue. Добро пожаловать. Witamy.
Benvenuto.
ようこそ
To This Week in Voice Live.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening. Bradley, how you doing?
Doing good, Emerson. How are you?
I am great. I am both exhausted and energized after a really exciting first week of the Google for Startup Accelerator program. It has been enlightening. Just a heck of a lot of fun, tons of learning. Really excited for what the next 9 to 10 weeks have ahead of us.
Are you being accelerated?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're only a week in, but this week has focused on OKRs, which has been incredibly helpful. Nice to get that focus and nice to learn from the experts at the Google team.
Cool. Yeah, it's a great group of companies, y'all included. So that's great to hear. And about to embark on the final leg, which I'm reworking now. Schedule will be forthcoming. Final leg of the Coast to Coast tour. It comes to an end. They said it could never happen, and it did. And then getting ready for Project Voice, both virtually and in person. But I'll tell you, on Monday we've got award finalists getting announced. And I didn't put out a newsletter last night, but that's why it's taken me a little bit of time to go through everything here at the end that's come in. But yeah, so some exciting stuff coming Monday.
That's great, and I saw that Peggy is returning to the Project Voice family, which is excellent.
Yes, she is. So it just it's just something we all went through. If you don't have a job for somebody, you don't have a job for somebody. But she's back, and it really, I don't need much to uplift my spirits, but having her back is excellent.
Anybody who has been to the Project Voice events in the past, I'm sure, has run into Peggy. She is a force to be reckoned with. Great to see her back.
You don't want to get on her bad side, I'll tell you that.
I think I guess I would have to ask her. I think I'm fortunate that I haven't been on her bad side yet. But
yeah, she can do damage, and it's good.
Well, let's jump in. So we're going to be doing our normal format. Start out with some news. We're going to do an interview with Adrian Briski of the Gaming Observer, and then we're going to be playing a game of Guesspionage. As always, you can visit jackbox.tv to help judge and participate in the audience. We're actually going to be doing something special today as well. We're going to be giving away some bot coin to one of the random guest audience members participating in the chat. So if you're watching us, ask questions, join us in the chat, and get your chance to win botcoin, which actually we're going to talk about here in a little bit. So without further ado, Bradley, you want to start it off this morning?
Yeah, no problem. So I'm going to read this headline from VoiceBot. This article's been a couple different places, but the VoiceBot reporting to me, I think, is the best on this. Wikipedia will start charging tech giants and their voice assistants for data access. And so this article's on VoiceBot now. It's sort of been pushed down the page because there's more recent news. Really interesting. It's a long article, and basically it talks about how it appears imminent that Wikimedia, which owns Wikipedia, will start charging for access to their information to answer questions. And I think two things about this. First of all, it's a really good development. It's the way it should have been from the start. Honestly, I think that you can excuse Wikipedia or Wikimedia or both for not knowing how big voice assistants were going to get when all of this started. So, if you go back to 2017, 2018, 2019, it's just sort of like common practice. If you're putting together a voice assistant or a conversational AI capacity of some sort, it's going to pull in some way, shape, or form from Wikipedia, and it was just a foregone conclusion. And it being a foregone conclusion has led to some negative outcomes. And I don't need to go into all of them here, but you can file them all under just sort of you get what you get when you're lazy and cheap about information gathering. So now that Wikipedia is going to be charging, it raises the bar. It raises the bar for Alexa, Google Assistant, Siri, all these other things, to have better information and to upkeep that information more efficiently than maybe what's happened before. The other thing I expect it to do is to create a little bit of competition for who provides information to these mainstream voice assistants. And then
I
as we
think
go
that's key.
along, yeah, some niche ones. Wikipedia just doesn't get to charge because they just decide to charge. I mean, they
Yeah.
can charge, but the act of charging will enable competition to occur. And I think that's a good thing too. So all in all, a really positive development for anybody working with voice and conversational AI with what's coming out of this story.
Yeah, I think it's actually going to create some tension between the companies and brands that are trying to voice enable their products or trying to have a presence on these assistants, and the broader search providers and the assistants themselves. Because like at Bespoken, we do a bunch of stuff with voice search engine optimization, finding ways to drive up those results in individual markets. And you have some control, but you don't have a ton of control. But if Wikipedia becomes the sole source of truth, you have even less control over how you want to represent your brand. I mean, you're limited to. I'm a big fan of Wikipedia. I donate every year, but you're limited to their version of the truth, which, regardless of whether or not it's the actual truth, it's not always what people want to represent their brand as.
Well said.
So I wanted to talk about something else. Talk about this bot coin that just got publicly announced earlier this week. So this is for anybody that hasn't seen it, this is a crypto custom for the voice and broader AI community. It's built on the Rally, which is a creator crypto, which is tied to Ethereum. And it has some monetary value, but it also gives bragging rights. It gives a sense of engagement and community to the voice family. We're going to be giving away again some Botcoin to people who join us in the chat here. But I think it's interesting. Like I'm not super bullish on the broader crypto market. I know some of our listeners here are incredibly bullish on it, but I do love the way that it may enable alternative monetization, which has always been a challenge for people in our industry. I wonder what the interplay is going to be with the traditional monetization channels of Google Assistant, of Alexa. Some of the struggles we've seen, like with the Apple, the iOS store, and them wanting to keep monetization there. But people are doing some pretty interesting stuff, recognizing open source developers, recognizing contributors to commercial platforms, and
yeah, complete agreement. And my perception of all this stuff going on with cryptocurrency outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum is, look, it's baby steps. This bot thing, I talked to Brett about it, I had a conversation when I was in one of the many airports I've been in lately. I'm sort of in curmudgeon mode with this bot thing. Like I'm not on board. And so, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I think there's a really high bar. Crypto is going to do a lot of fantastic things for a lot of people, but for like this bot thing and for other non-brand name cryptos, there's a super high bar that needs to be met for utility, in order to overcome some of the objections that people have in the way that these things could be used to take advantage of people and some of those sorts of things. And I tell you, one of my favorite cryptos for a long time has been not bot, but BAT, the basic attention token. The concept of BAT, which has been around for years, is let's tip our creators. Let's change the ecosystem of creators entirely to where we change the funding structure of it all, and we allow people to pay creators directly. It's created by Brendan Eich, the guy who's behind JavaScript and a bunch of other stuff. Look, bot, let's give some away. It's cool, whatever. Let's keep building it. But Look, I'm getting older. I'm in curmudgeon mode. Don't bother me with this shit until we're ready to go.
I would say the value of Rally and the value of Botcoin has risen meteorically in the last week or so. So it'll be interesting to see as the voice community grows, see how that grows as well.
I like that positive spin. Look, no, I don't mean to be a hater. It's all good. We'll support it. I'm sure it'll grow. I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah, if only we had all listened to Brian Romley years ago about the value of these cryptos, we could be doing this from the Caymans or something, I guess.
You listen to Brian on just about anything.
That's true. All right, so let's bring up our featured guest today.
Hello.
Adrian, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good to see you, Adrian. And before we start,
Great.
if you don't mind, Emerson, I've got 3 special things to show our guest here.
Oh,
So
yeah.
This isn't just for anybody, okay? So
Oh, wow.
I posted a picture of the Warcraft 2 box to Twitter. This is the manual. This is older than you. This is really older than you. You'll have to Google what this is. I doubt even Emerson knows.
Yeah, before my time as well.
Okay, so this is from a game called Return to Zork. And Zork being what a lot of people hold up as the predecessor to every voice game that exists, and then found a random bunch of pieces. This is in your honor right here, because everything you're doing with your newsletter, it reminds me so much of this. I would love to get this mail. I would go get the mail. Whenever I thought that this would be in the mail, I would go get the mail. If I didn't think this would be in the mail, I would absolutely not get the mail. And, the information that you're putting together and what you're doing is just so special. It's just like that. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I haven't had a CD drive in a computer in, I have no idea how long, but I do miss getting the free demo CDs in old PC gamers.
Yeah, I had a few magazines when I was a kid. I don't think it was any of the big classics that people will know for the biggest ones. But I was definitely at least on the edge before they phased them all out.
So Adrian, I'll do a intro just in the interest of time. For anybody that doesn't know you, and they absolutely should, you are the host of the Gaming Observer, which is the most popular news flash briefing on the Alexa US and Canada marketplaces. Part of the Gaming Observer is also a daily newsletter that you send out that Bradley said is incredibly informative to keep on task with all the developments in the gaming world. And you're a senior, I believe, at Ryerson up in Toronto.
Yeah, I'm like in my last month of university right now, so it's
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I had a question for. I'm curious why Alexa Flash Briefings? Why the daily newsletter? Like what got you into that sort of mass broadcast media?
I mean, it was kind of a circumstance, I guess. Some friend had told me about Alexa for the first time, and I knew about Alexa, but about the Flash Briefings, and I was like, oh, that's a neat feature. So I got one for myself. And then when I went searching through the Flash Briefings for video games, the only one that was there was IGN, and they had like a really bad review score as well. Like there was no independent creators doing video games, and I was like, it seems like a fun thing. I may as well just try it. So I had the microphone, I had whatever, and so I put together like a 3-minute show for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden people were listening, and I was like, that came out of nowhere, but okay. So I just kept the ball rolling from that, and the newsletter is an offshoot of that, just to see how the Observer can grow and whatnot. And
there's some irony with IGN having a bad review.
Yeah, and it eventually got to a point where it was just me and IGN, and one of them had 4.9 star review and the other had 2.5. So who were they going to choose, right? It just kind of snowballed from there, and I'm having a lot of fun. It's a great Flash Briefings. I find really unique because when you start, most gamers or most whatever will be doing like Twitch streaming or a YouTube channel or a long form podcast or something like that. And having this medium has been like a whole new world for me, because constantly being in people's lives every single day is a whole new way of approaching content and talking about video games and being involved in your audience's life than it would be to just have a 60-minute podcast every week.
So I have a Substack newsletter,
Okay.
and it's more well read than I would have ever have dreamt. I don't know why people want to hear from me, and especially I don't know why they want to hear from me after about a week. But for some reason they do. I'm curious with yours. I see the quality. Look, I don't subscribe to a bunch of newsletters, but I subscribe to yours, and I've read all these things. I grew up reading it, as I just showed. I've seen it all. Everything about what you're doing is special, and it is incredible. And I'm just wondering, what is your daily, you sort of commented on what being in people's lives on a daily basis. I'm curious as to the feedback you receive, not just in the growth of the numbers, that'll come at whatever rate it comes at,
Yeah.
but what sort of feedback you get, emails from time to time from people reading, maybe publishers saying, will you cover this? Share some of that.
It is unbelievable just a dream come true. Like from pretty much day 60, like I was doing it for 2 months, and I was getting emails from people that were like, "Hey, you are a part of every single morning for me." And like I had an email from a lady who was like, "Hey, I struggle with like morning depression, and you give me a routine every single day, something to look forward to that sets my day straight." And I was like, "Wow, like incredibly humbling, right? Like how now I'm so excited to do the show, and I have like teachers who are like, "Hey, I play your show for my class, my game design class every single day in high school." And just if you look at the reviews that I've gotten on the Observer, it's just ridiculous the incredibly nice things that people are saying. And it was something that I never could have imagined for what this was, right? I was like, "Hey, 5-minute news show, I'm going to tell people about some video games. It's a fun thing," but I didn't expect anything to really come out of it besides people being interested in the news. And instead, because of the format, because of the way I've approached the content, I've gotten some, like you said, like just some really heartwarming, meaningful, humbling messages from people. It's by far the best part of all this.
And real quick, because we definitely want to pick your brain about some games. What do you do to streamline the creation of your flash briefing? Because as a student, as as a gamer, you've got a lot of stuff going on. Like how do you keep that time investment down to a minimum, but still keep the quality up?
Practice makes perfect, I guess. When I started, it took me like 3 hours to make a 5-minute show just to get all of the best stories, and then I refined that down to like 90 minutes. But then I started the newsletter, so that added some time up to now. Now it takes about 2 hours a day to get the show done. So really, it's just like my process is just scroll the headlines, write the script, and record the show and edit the audio. But all of that together really adds up. So really, it's a matter of finding the eye for the story that you want to tell, and then practice until you can get it really efficient.
So I think that's important. That's like, even though it is something brief that people interact with, it is the quality, it is the time and effort that you put in that makes it such a meaningful piece of content for them every day.
Yeah.
Adrian, tell us the most meaningful or best game you've played the last year, the best game you're playing right now, and the game you're most excited about coming out the rest of the year.
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot. Okay. The most, I don't know about meaningful, but the best game that I've played in recent memory is like Hollow Knight. It's a Metroidvania. It's an indie game, and it just blew me away the first time that I played it. And I've recently been replaying it, and it's just, it basically cemented it as like my favorite game of all time. It's so good. It's not for everybody. It's a very difficult game, but Hollow Knight is top tier in terms of design. Right now, what I'm playing, there's a game I'm really loving called Yakuza Zero. It's a beat 'em up.
Fantastic game.
Yeah, you're in the Yakuza, and they just recently like brought all of the games from Japan to Western English, and I'm having a great time with that game. It has this really strange dichotomy of like super serious storylines in the Yakuza and the Mafia, and we're gonna kill people, and then like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go bowling and start dating the lady that works at the bowling alley. Like it's got just these wacky side characters that you don't expect. As for what I'm excited for, I don't really know, to be honest. I don't really look forward that often. Like most of the time, I get in my headlines like, oh, this game is out now, and I read the reviews and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that was coming out. I don't buy games on day one. I don't pre-order games. I don't look forward to the future and buy into the hype and all of that stuff. I tend to promote like healthy buying purchases. Wait until the game is out and you've read the reviews, and then you should buy the game because, whatever. So yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I couldn't even tell you very many games that are coming out this year that I can think of.
I think the answer that you were looking for was either the remake of Zelda Skyward Sword or the new Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Snap, that's a good one. Yeah.
How about the remake of Mass Effect? I've got my eyes on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely in there. I've never played the first 3 Mass Effects. I've just started like the first one for half an hour. Yeah, so the remaster is a good opportunity for.
Well, unfortunately, it doesn't come out till after you've graduated. So, because if it did, the likelihood that you would graduate, I think would plummet. So.
Yeah.
If you haven't played any of the Mass Effect games, you're in for something special.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard plenty about it, right? Like, it's always been on the backlog, and I'll get to it one day, and yeah, it's just...
And forget this whole thing about... I read this thing about, and I think you covered it, I've seen it before, about Fox News. I actually remember when Fox News talked about Mass Effect, back when it came out. Forget all that. It's fantastic. I don't know all the things that you hate. I'm sure you'll cover it, but it's incredible.
Yeah, I've heard plenty of good about Mass Effect, for sure. I look forward to playing it.
All right.
All right. Yeah, it's gaming time. Let's do it. So today we're going to be playing a game called Guespionage. And Guespionage is another Jackbox game. Super fun. Hopefully you guys can hear that.
I can do this. I have a fear of depth.
The way that Guespionage works, if you log into jackbox.tv and type in that code BZYN, it'll let you in, and everybody in the audience should also head to jackbox.tv and type in the code BZYN, and you can all be guest judges and help us play. I will say, for anybody that is listening along, you should pay attention to your phone for the input and output, or for your web browser, because there is about a 15-20 second delay between what you see on the screen and what is going on in the game. So head to jackbox.tv, type in the code B as in boy, Z as in zebra, Y as in yellow, N as in Nancy. And we will play. So for Bradley, Adrian, I guess Adrian, you've probably played this. Bradley, if you haven't played it, it's going to give us... I can turn it down.
What should I search for in the old Surveillance Pro next? Ooh, I know.
Let's see. Yeah, I'll turn the volume down a little bit.
What percentage of people drink water straight from the tap when at home?
So the first question, what percentage of people drink water straight from the tap? So you guys on your phone and your browser, you need to enter if you think it's above 50%, below 50%, kind of where you think, what percentage you think it is.
See, this is one of these complicated topics, right? Like, people have very strong opinions about how tap water goes. So I'm like, I feel like most people it should be higher, but I'm like, I'm just going to call it like a 50... You know what? I'm going to call it a 35. We're just going to put it there.
Got it.
I feel like it's a less popular thing.
Everyone else, do you think the correct answer is higher or lower?
I don't know. That is pretty low.
I'm someone that's just comes right home. I'll drink from anything.
Unanimously
like, the pipes are clean,
let's see the right answer.
I'm going higher.
Nice. How many people put their mouths on the tap when they drink?
Yeah, you missed on Clubhouse. Audrey Arbini was talking last week about how delicious the New York tap water is, and had to take her word for it.
Okay, who's up next?
All right, question 2. All right, Bradley, looks like you're up this time. Off to an early lead.
What percentage of people own
What percentage of people own T-shirts that are at least 10 years old? Oh, geez.
It's like all of my
that was all my T-shirts before I got married.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 20%.
20%. Everyone else, higher or lower?
Interesting. This is just own T-shirts. Like, this could be like one T-shirt.
Yeah.
I guess.
Unanimous again. Okay, let's
I have a
see the
T-shirt
right
from
answer.
my Boy Scout camp that was a staff shirt from the year I was born. Wow.
I didn't get that anywhere close to that.
Who got it right? Ooh, points for you.
That's
That's
high.
right, Bradley. In 7 years, I'll give you back an old Project Voice T-shirt. And
There you
then,
go. There you go. I have
Here's what
several
we've been
t-shirts that are
especially
that old,
interested
but I don't know
in.
about
Don't ask
everybody else.
Yeah, both of the t-shirt and the sweater I'm wearing are older than 10 years old.
What percentage of people prefer to turn their chairs
Turn
around
chairs
and sit in them
around
backwards?
and sit them backwards. Oh, that's got to be low.
I feel like for that to be the standard, I'd be like, if this is the way people prefer to sit,
prefer
I would
it.
have some questions.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm gonna
I think
go.
Wouldn't that be how they were designed in the first place?
Right.
We're almost out of time.
I'm gonna go 13%.
13%. Okay.
13%. There's got to be
higher or
one
lower?
out of every 8 people that is weird.
I'm going lower.
I think I'm going lower too, yeah.
Oh
The
man.
correct answer is 11%.
Oh, wow.
Close, though.
Pretty close.
Just missed it by 2%.
When it
Nice
popped up and
guess.
it was 0 at first, I was really worried.
Oh, you get a bonus for being
Let's
that
see who
close.
got it right. Here's some points.
I guess so, yeah. All right, round one. Let's
That's it for round
see.
one.
Come
Let's take a look at the
on.
scores.
Emerson, you got a nice bonus from that turn the chair around.
Oh
Not
yeah.
bad, but things are a little different in round two. I'll explain as we go.
I may not know much, but apparently I know random, totally useless knowledge about how people sit down.
All right, let's
Ooh,
see
this
here.
is gonna be good.
Maple Potato says only hip youth pastors do that.
That is
What
funny.
percentage of people are neat freaks?
Ooh,
Neat freaks.
that's a tough one.
Again, I feel like a lot of people would characterize themselves as neat freaks, even if they aren't necessarily.
Yeah,
Hmm.
you got might be some difference between how many they are.
You're almost out of time.
I'll bump it down to
We
40%.
have an
See
answer.
what- see how this-
40%. In round two, you can now guess much higher or much lower. Pick one of those if you think the answer is off by 15% or more. If you're right, you'll earn double the money. If not, you'll still have our respects, I guess.
They-
Oh yeah, do we think it's? I think it's much lower. So now we can pick if we think it's higher, lower, much
let's
higher, or
go-
much
let's go
lower.
double lower.
21%.
There you
We
go.
take bets on how
Oh.
long these people can
I
hide their
still
likeness.
would have thought it was
lower
lower.
bracket or no?
Nah, I think that's just the lower bracket.
Who got it right?
I think you beat me there. Shoot.
And what have we here? Great answer. Double points for saying much lower.
Oh yeah, you got it. Maybe it's 15.
Next up. Sit. Stay.
Dog
Here's the
movies.
question.
This isn't going to be good for me.
What percentage of people have watched a film in the Air
Oh.
Bud franchise?
wow.
What percentage of people watch the film The Air Bud franchise in its entirety?
Geez.
I have a single memory of Air Bud when I was like 4 years old. My parents were still together, and I have no memories of when my parents were still together. I assume I watched it in its entirety,
Everyone
but I
else,
don't
higher
remember
or
anything
lower?
about it.
Yeah, I don't have any memories of Air Bud, but I've definitely seen more than one of those.
High five.
I think it's gonna be
Looks
much
like
higher.
even split. And
I
the
don't know
correct
how
answer
popular
is
these movies are.
Yeah, or is it?
What?
39%. I haven't seen them. I hold out for the Broadway musical.
Wow.
All right.
Let's see who got it right.
I like how that scoreboard's looking.
Who's
Emerson,
next?
you're
It's
rocking.
like the first half.
High five.
All right.
Typey.
And finally, oh, Christmas trees. I love Christmas trees.
What percentage
If
of
we could
people
still have them up
Christmas
in the
trees
house
beyond
here in
January
March,
31st?
I would. But what
I
percentage
have,
of people
I
have
have a
them?
friend who still has one up.
Oh, beyond January 31st, though, I think it's pretty low. I think it's. Yeah, I think most people get socially bullied into getting rid of them by January 31st.
I'm going lower.
I'm relying on people's
Right down
laziness
the
on this
middle.
one.
Now let's get to the right answer.
Oh, what?
31%.
Whoa.
It's the same percentage of people who love their floors.
All right,
covered with
I gotta
brown
show my
tiles.
wife that in 10 months or something.
That's crazy.
Who got it right?
All right, and now for
first, just leave it up year round.
when I was a kid, we used to get the ones that had that are still live that have the bulbs, and then just plant them outside. So I guess that's still up. It's not in the house, but
And found the most popular answers to this question.
all right. And so this final round is a little bit tougher. You get to pick multiple different ones. So what variety of apple do people prefer?
You have three guesses.
Geez.
The three most popular answers are worth
interesting.
points.
Okay.
Ready, go! If you're in the audience,
Oh, wow.
how you answer the question will affect who gets points.
Every time I look at a new one, I'm like, it could be that one.
I picked the three apples that I hate the most, but
Don't forget to use all three of your picks.
You know what? Let's go with this one. Let's just see.
Okay, let's see what you picked. Now,
Oh,
let's take a
wow.
look at
Across
the
the board.
results.
big spread, yeah. Pink Lady is obviously the best, but
Nice. Rock on.
all right, final scores. Let's see.
Who is it, boy?
I got
it? It's
Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right, great job, guys. Great job.
Nice job.
Hey, you're a winner. Tell you what.
And Adrian,
no
you
federal
did well.
income tax
I
for the
did
next
more.
3 years.
I racked up a lot of points in that last round.
That's all right. There's always time to practice before next week.
Adrian, thanks for being part of the show with us. Thanks for taking the time. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep pounding. You're doing great work.
Thank you so much for having me here, guys. I had a lot of fun, and for all the kind words as well. It means a lot.
Yeah, great chatting with you, Bradley. Always a pleasure to see you. I'll see you, and we will see everybody out in the audience again here next week.
Appreciate you, Emerson.